In this lesson, I want to consider the editing of user details. And I'm looking at a system where I've logged on as the system administrator, and I'm looking at now the users area inside the administration screens. I'm going to navigate into the user search screen. This allows me to go and find existing users that have been defined inside the system. And we're able to search by all of the users, whether they are users that are templates and therefore only a shape of the user, whether they are a concurrent or a named user license, which team, etc. that they belong to. So I can search for users based on all types of information. Now there's a particular user that I want to search for, and that user is Matthew Ebden. So I'm going to enter part of his name, and I can see within this that he is an enabled user. And in fact, I've logged on as Matthew Ebden over here in the screen here. So I can see that I've currently logged on. I have a number of particular rights that are defined by my security profile, by my rights inside the user environment. What you can see is that I miss I'm missing the marketing button, and within the reports area, although I can run reports, you'll see that I don't have the ability to create new reports. So the first thing that I'm going to do is look at the idea of setting the user level so that this person is has what are called info manager rights. This makes Matthew Ebden a type of super user. So I can switch in looking at Matthew Ebden, and I can click change on this screen. So what I want to do is change his rights to being an info manager. So I'm just going to change this over so that he's now marked as an info manager. And I'm going to save that. Now, I've not granted him any other rights other than simply changing this, and this allows you to understand that we can find a user, we can change their rights, and it will have an immediate effect within the system. So if I log off as Matthew Ebden and log back on, we'll see that straight away a new button has appeared within the main menu. You can see that we now have the marketing button available to me. And if I go into reporting, if I click on the report screens, you'll see that I can create a report category, and within the general reports area, I now have the ability to create a new report and edit existing enterprise reports. So an info manager is this superior type of user. The next thing that I want to consider is looking at a user and perhaps saying, well, this user has moved on, has left the system. You can see that I can log on as Matthew Ebden. I can navigate to my opportunities tab, and you can see that I have a number of opportunities that are currently in progress, and there would be a number of different items of work associated with this particular user. If this user leaves the company, I want to be able to disable the user so they no longer take up a license, but I want to keep any work that has historically been associated with them, so any past work, anything that has been completed. But I also want to keep, I want to take all the open work and allocate it to a new user. So let me just log off as my user right now. I'm going to switch across into the system administration screens, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the feature of reassign and disable. I can temporarily disable the ability for somebody to log on, but I can also disable and change and push all the work across into a different user. So this is the reassign. Now the user that I have in mind is a new user that I created, Karen Rogers, and I could either take these records and apply them to an individual user or to a team. In this case, I want to reassign to an individual user, and here I can look for Karen Rogers, and then I can confirm that I want to be able to reassign any of the companies and people that have been linked to Matthew Ebden, as Karen Rogers is now the new owner for those accounts. I can select each of the items of work that might be relevant. Now, in fact, in my case, leads and cases are not relevant. What will be relevant will be communications and opportunities, and what I want is only to move across the information that is either in progress or pending. So it's only those records that will be moved, and I can select go. So it's telling me how many records will be altered by this, and the fact that there are 262 companies, 19 opportunities, and 24 contacts that will be 24 persons that will be moved across, and I can continue. And I've now moved the records across. We can see that that's been done because if I switch across as Karen Rogers and look at opportunities, we now see for Karen Rogers that she has been assigned 19 new opportunities. So we've seen all of those previous items that belonged to the user Matthew Ebden have been assigned to her, whereas now if I try and log on as Matthew Ebden again, we'll see that he's no longer able to access the system. So that means that we're able to understand how we can come in and we can edit existing users within Sage CRM.